Camera, hold on one second. All right. All right. Okay. So it is the midday huddle. Yes, there's some information about Shedeur and what happened at his home, the break-in. Um, you know, also I got a press conference clip of Kevin Stefanski changing his tune today, but it's a little too late. It's a little too late. And the fact that it took a boycott, which means it was escalated to a fever pitch, it's too late. So we're gonna talk about it. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Y'all subscribe to the channel. Y'all doing a fine job. Keep subscribing to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 7,000. Is it 7,000? No, we're trying to get to 6,000, which means I'm trying to get to 5,700. So trying to get to 5,700, hit the like button, and subscribe. I will put a video on the screen, but you know what? It's the midday huddle, so I'm just gonna tell you about it. And thank y'all for becoming new customers of whatshesaidsports.com. We have some new drops this week. Go check it out. My fave is a new tee, the new Shedeur tee with the 12 on the back. It's cute. I think it's cute and it looks chic. And I think it comes in extra small. I think maybe all the way up to like a 3XL. So y'all check that out. Just drop that. And we got a new beanie, a new Shedeur beanie. So whatshesaidsports.com, elevate your game. All right. So welcome everybody. Welcome. I see y'all starting to get in here. Thanks. I see the crew. All right. So Shedeur Sanders' home was robbed of over $200,000 in property. And he had cameras. So there were people saying, why did he have cameras? He had cameras. Matter of fact, 3 suspects are seen on cameras robbing his house. Now, understand this. Somebody said he should have had an alarm. See, here's the thing about alarms. The alarm can be going off and I can be robbing you at the same time. Here's what Shedeur needs. Shedeur needs 24/7 security at his home. He's a target. And yes, people have wondered, was it an inside job? Meaning maybe somebody from the Browns gave out his address, or worse, is it intimidation to run him off because they don't want him to be QB1 and he's this close, right? They put up strong fight, strong resistance against this young man, withholding first team reps, right? It's not far-fetched. Why? Because Kevin Stefanski is changing his tune, which means he knows he was wrong. And I asked the question last night. Who should be the next Cleveland Browns owner? You know what the answer is? Shedeur Sanders. You know why? Because people are starting to click what we've been saying. Shedeur got one hell of a lawsuit against the Cleveland Browns. And the sad part is, and it didn't have to get to this point. I said it yesterday, there was plenty of opportunity for fairness, but the owners of the Cleveland Browns, is it Haslam or ownership group, whatever it is, allowed this to fester and get to a fever pitch, and only willing to change and be different on camera because of a boycott. Now, here's the thing. You already have fans boycotting, staying away from games, the tailgate, not watching. What about the fans that are ready to boycott the sponsors? See, they know that's what's next. How long before the fans boycott the sponsors? How much can Kevin Stefanski fake before the fans see straight through that and boycott the sponsors? Who are their sponsors? Huntington Bank, Bud Light. Those are 2 of the biggest. And some of the other sponsors, that how long before fans get there? And what the Browns need to understand is, this young man came into the league with 6 million people. There are fans on other teams that bought Shedeur Sanders jersey. They pile into the comments all the time. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan. So here's the thing. By trying to split off your fan base and say Browns fans versus Shedeur Sanders fans, that's not going to help you, because we buy Bud Light too. We bank and Huntington Bank too. Understand this. There's no way out of this but to start doing the right thing. Stop trying to force and whip this young man into submission like his name is Kunta Kinte. We see you. And the Browns have to follow workplace rules and regulations as well. All corporations do. There's a group of corporate lawyers looking at this going, Lord, have mercy. You will be sued under the ground. And because they fans decided to let that stadium sit empty for 30 minutes, now Kevin Stefanski want to say Shedeur name today. But he's still on that BS. talking about some mental reps. So yes, Shedeur Sanders' home was burglarized. The 3 men caught on camera, not caught in the flesh, but on camera. Alarms can help, a ring camera can help. However, they weren't afraid, and maybe they didn't know they weren't on camera. If it was 3 of them, I wonder if they were even from the area, or maybe it's the 3 that choose to travel between maybe Cleveland, Kansas City, wherever Pat Mahomes lived, wherever Joe Burrow lived. Or again, was it an inside job because Shedeur Sanders' phone number and address is limited? Now, we saw a whole plot to send out Shedeur Sanders' phone number to humiliate them. It is justifiable to ask if this is a plot to intimidate him. But again, he refuses to say his name is Toby. His name is not Kunta Kinte either. That's where we are. And I watched all the people come run to the internet yesterday to say, I didn't get first team reps. It doesn't matter if you didn't get first team reps. What matters and what will work in a court of law is Dylan Gable got first team reps as a QB3 with the offense and defense. Shedeur was rewarded with first team defense. So it shows you they excluded him intentionally from first team offense because they did not want him to be developed, to get prepared to ball out in Cleveland. So Cleveland has spent more time and effort holding back Shedeur Sanders than they have to win. That's why they didn't have a strategy to win, because they don't want Shedeur Sanders to be loved by their own fans. And they don't want no new fans to hold them accountable. But all fans held them accountable. But it is imperative that Shedeur Sanders, because he's the target at his job by his own head coach and at his home, that he needs security and bodyguards 24/7. And if they want to try to cut him and say he a distraction, knowing they created this scenario, they are the reason people question if it was an inside job from the Browns. They have a young lady on the payroll following him around when he's off the clock in street clothes. So it's not far-fetched, and it needs to be investigated. Now, they saying they're looking into it, but he needs to get his own private investigators, because all these people in Cleveland know each other. Every last one of them. And all they're going to do is come back and say, yeah, we don't know. No. Get your own investigators. And the NFL Players Association seems to just be negligent. And the commissioner, negligent. The owner of the Browns, negligent, allowing all of this racism to fester, so that when there's a break-in, after his phone number was given out to everybody that works in the NFL, including equipment managers, and the Browns fulfilled that by having him thrown to the equipment managers, now you have to question if the Browns had Shedeur Sanders robbed to intimidate him so he would live in fear, because they tried to break him down on while he's at work, because he refuses to not be Shedeur Sanders, because they don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders, but they didn't want quarterbacks like Deshaun Watson either. And maybe one day people will investigate if Deshaun Watson's contract was quid pro quo, because 13 other teams wanted him, and the Browns have already come out and said they're not trading him, which means they're not using him next year either. They just sent him there to rot, like they sent Shedeur. It's a pattern. Like they sent Tyrod Taylor, like they sent RG3, like they sent DeShone Kizer. The reason the Browns thought their fans would keep showing up is because DeShone Kizer went 0-15, and they showed up to the average of 64,000 for 15 weeks straight. And they thought they could get away with it again with Shedeur Sanders. False. They keep messing around. Hasn't going to be forced to sell that team if he don't cut Stefanski loose. Allow Stefanski to run rogue to the point now Stefanski want to say Shedeur name after everybody been calling it out. That's why people are saying Shedeur Sanders got one hell of a discrimination lawsuit, and that will be number 4 for the NFL in less than 5 years, which proves Brian Flores' lawsuit is correct. It's valid. Racism is rife within the NFL. Look at how many people took to the internet to try to prove that this kid wasn't good. Shout out to Josina Anderson, who posted an Against All Odds post. That against all odds, he actually balled out. The completion he made against all odds. What are the odds? His own damn O-line on camera, brazenly blowing their coverages when he's in, but protecting Dylan. That virus that Kevin Stefanski started, that hatred, that bias virus is spreading. And it doesn't matter whether the O-linemen were acting independently or whether they were taking their cues or whether they were enlisted by head coach Kevin Stefanski. What you cannot ignore is that while Shedeur was at an NFL debut with his own O-lineman taking him down, his own coach refusing to talk to him during the timeout toward the end of the game to strategize to get better, his own coach dehumanizing him all the way up until, hell, the last 5 seconds, saying his name damn near for the first time, probably the whole time he'd been there, because he's changing his tune. Finally saying something positive about him. It's not far-fetched to think that while you're being ostracized and isolated and your own teammates are selling you up the river because your head coach doesn't want you to be successful because the owner allows the racism to fester, it is not out of the question. If it was an inside job, if somebody from the Browns, just like they had somebody following him off the clock and it's documented on camera, was the culprit that either had him robbed, found some people, gave him the address, and told him what to do, where to go, and what to get. So he would be uncomfortable in his own home. If you've ever been robbed, if your home has ever been burglarized while you're not there, you're never comfortable after that. And that could be intimidation to make him want to quit. Because everything I've seen since he's gotten to Cleveland is to make him want to quit, including Mary Cabot asking Joe Flacco, is Shedeur's celebrity a problem? It is for you. It is for you. There's no turning back. It's too late to say his name now. We know why you did it, because you busted. I posted last night, Cleveland Browns are busted. And what are people saying today? Damn, Shedeur got one hell of a lawsuit to the tune of $1 billion in excess of damages. You know why? Because this is not their first time. You know why? Again, because it's a pattern of behavior in the NFL. It's allowed to fester and rot by ownership and the commissioner and the NFL Players Association. And any goddamn judge gonna send them a message. I told y'all when the season started and he ended up in Cleveland and the way they were treating him, I said, Coach Prime gonna have equity in the team before it's over with. Here we are. You got to make this right. But it's so much wrong. Just saying his name ain't going to get it. Kevin Stefanski needs to be fired before that Raiders game, and Tommy Rees can take over as the interim head coach. Shedeur needs to be able to be comfortable in a workplace and not in a toxic workplace environment. It's imperative that Kevin Stefanski is terminated. There is more than ample documented evidence to support a termination of Kevin Stefanski for racial discrimination. I don't want to hear shit about mental reps. When Dylan got physical reps at a QB3 and QB2. And all Shedeur got his first team reps with a defense. And then they threw him into this game unprepared because they wanted him to fail. They should be investigated by Congress for malfeasance to see just how long back the pattern of behavior goes. Shedeur Sanders' name is just that. His nickname is grown. He is not Kunta Kinte, and his damn name is not Toby. And you're not going to break him down mentally, and we're not going to sit by while you do it. If you want to continue this, get ready. I already said it. If the Browns want to keep rolling with Stefanski, get ready to be forced to sell that team. And you best believe it, because there's precedence. So we hope Shedeur is comfortable. If not, just go get a rental penthouse, bro. If you want to move, just move. And here's the thing. Follow your instincts, Shedeur. If you uncomfortable and when you, even though you're not driving, make sure your drivers start checking behind you to see if people are following you. Don't trust any and everybody at your job. At the point right now, you actually can't. If your old lineman decide they want to invite you to the house for dinner, don't go. And it's not foolish of you to choose not to go. If you don't feel comfortable, that's a message. You're being targeted at home and at work. And until they can determine if the two are related, the break-in and the dehumanization at work holding you back from QB1 because you're black. is related, don't trust nobody. Because they want you to be uncomfortable. So when you feel uncomfortable, that's an internal alarm telling you to protect yourself. Don't trust these people. Because I said yesterday, I wonder what extremes they'll go to. To have somebody following this man around when he's in street clothes, telling him, you know, I got to make sure you stay out of trouble, is trying to bully him and to paint a picture that he's a problem so they can use his celebrity to cut him. What they going to do with these kids coming out of college next year? Because I know one at Ohio State. Jeremiah, Primetime JJ, he's a celebrity. And his father's not Coach Prime. So what they going to do? Hinder him too? That's why they like Travis. Because he wasn't a celebrity. And they thought they could whip him into submission by praising him and shunning Shedeur. But it didn't work because he's smart. And they should have known that because he graduated college as a junior. And probably had a damn 4.0. So when he was enough to ask for his $30 million up front, then they want to get mad. Now they ask if they've been fleeced after they underutilize them. That's on you. A signing bonus is to be paid up front. All of it. No matter where you work. Because you chose to work there. Signing bonus. So Shedeur Sanders' name is not Kunta Kinte. It is not Toby. And Kevin Stefanski needs to stop trying to show everybody that he's trying to whip Shedeur Sanders into submission and break him down from being Shedeur Sanders until he says his name is Toby. Because they don't want a black quarterback. So it's not just the melanin is a problem for them. It's who he is, the way he breathes, the way he eats is a problem for them. Because if you got to break a person down because you don't want them to be themselves, there's nothing that person can do for you to like them. And this is not just about Kevin Stefanski not liking Shedeur or hating Shedeur. This is in your face racial discrimination. And you need to call it what it is instead of saying something's not right, Stephen A. Racism is not right. Racial discrimination in the workplace is not right. Creating a toxic culture, workplace harassment is not right. Creating an unsupportive environment is not right. Allowing the racism to fester to the point where the O-linemen start blowing their coverages only when Shedeur played. But they know how to block, cover, and tackle when Dylan plays in the same game. Is not okay. Shedeur expected to only have mental reps and not have physical reps. It's disgusting. Because why? Because the Browns had Jerry Jeudy forced him to share a locker with Flacco because they understand just how important QB wide receiver chemistry is, which is why they withheld it from Shedeur and only allowed him first team reps with the defense. He don't throw the ball to the defense. So they set him up to fail, and it's disgusting. And now Stefanski want to say Shedeur Sanders' name. He want to stop pretending to dehumanize him, but he wants to throw it out there about some goddamn mental reps. Dylan had physical reps as a QB3 and as a QB2, and Shedeur deserves equality, and he should also get first team reps with the offense and defense. No less than. And all them people around there working around there letting it happen, y'all gonna get what you get. Because you complicit. And now y'all know why black people were slaves for 400 years. You see all these running around, trying to justify people talking about quarterback efficiency. I said, if you're not going to talk about number 55 and 77 blowing their damn coverages when Shedeur played, 77 just stopped dead and threw his damn hands in the air. But they want to talk about Jerry Jeudy didn't cut on the route. I said, Shedeur throws his receivers open. And because Jerry Jeudy and Shedeur never had opportunity to practice 160 reps like Dylan, it's not there, but they know that. That's why Jerry Jeudy was sharing a locker with Flacco. So understand this. They have shown you they understand that chemistry is essential. They have shown you that a QB3 and a QB2 in Cleveland can get first team reps with the offense and defense. They have shown you that Shedeur is the only one who cannot. They have shown you that they discriminate and who gonna check me, boo, until the boycott. And fans are probably likely talking about the sponsors. We need to start boycotting the sponsors next. Bud Light, Huntington Bank. So now Stefanski want to say Shedeur's name because they've been talking. This getting out of hand, you let it get out of hand. He should have been terminated already. Callahan was terminated. Daboll was terminated. I don't know what you're holding on to Stefanski for. Is he the last person you could get to be racist? That's the problem. Used to be looking for a coach that can help you win and not a coach that can break down a black quarterback to force him to say his name is Toby instead of Kunta Kinte. This is the whole problem, which is why Haslam needs to be forced to sell. This is the whole problem. This is why the organization has been toxic for so long. This is why they have been a losing franchise for so long. They're not focused on winning. They're playing their own rendition of Roots. For a franchise that was taking Shedeur Sanders at QB2 before day one of the damn NFL draft this year, to not be given first team reps because you knew he was elite. You considered getting drafted Shedeur and Travis. It's documented. And now you want to act like Dillon, who's an undrafted free agent, deserves to be propped up to a third-round QB. Shedeur Sanders' skill set did not dissipate because you chose to take him off the board or because in Cleveland, you were forced to draft him. When you were forced to draft him, he was still an elite QB1, but you didn't treat him like that. You said something about he was going to redshirt this year. This is not college. There is no justifiable reason why Shedeur Sanders, who's a skilled elite QB1, and was evaluated as such and was going to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns, would be behind Dillon Gabriel, who's truly an undrafted free agent. And when the season has played out and Dillon has failed, Kevin Stefanski still insists on losing rather than pivoting to the franchise QB who still has an elite skill set, because where would it go? Your skill set doesn't dissipate because you devalue me. And that's the mistake the NFL is making. It will never hold up in any court of law. And for Haslam to allow it is negligence. And that's why fans need to boycott the sponsors regardless. To sit up here and talk about getting another quarterback next year is absurd. Nobody wants to go to this toxic cesspool. Clean it up first. And they should be forced to clean it up first, which is why they need to have a congressional hearing. And they should be blocked from drafting any quarterback, regardless of race. Kevin Stefanski is not only inept. He has shown more than once, and it is well documented, that he is actively and openly discriminating against Shedeur Sanders. And he has dehumanized him on multiple occasions to the point that you have to ask, did he have anything to do with Shedeur Sanders being robbed while he was at a game? Because we know the Browns have somebody on the payroll following Shedeur around when he's in street clothes. It needs to be investigated, and the Sanders need to hire a private investigator to get to the bottom of this. Don't be naive about this. Just like that damn prank during the draft. They tried to slide that prank in. You see, they got exposed. If it wasn't for them idiots filming the damn prank, we wouldn't have known nothing about it. But we know it goes all the way back to the New York Giants. So this could go right back to the Browns. Anything to run him off because he's this close. You would think if Shedeur take the field and ball out and win a game, that the city of Cleveland just going to implode. No, they're going to be happy, but that's what they don't want. They don't want their own fans to be happy with Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback because they don't want Shedeur Sanders to be their quarterback because he's good. So they pretended he wasn't and stuck him behind Dillon. Then they lied and said his skills was outdated. They all need to be fired immediately. And if Haslam want to keep his team, he better cut Stefanski loose today. But see, people are arrogant. You're not going to tell me what to do, but God will. So you can start doing the right thing by Shedeur Sanders, or you can continue to suffer the consequences. This is not the movie Roots. Shedeur is not Kunta Kinte, and his damn name is not Toby. He knows what his name is, and you're not going to break him down. Even if you withhold first team reps from the offense, you see he's still, like Josina Anderson said, against all odds, was able to make some damn good completions that everybody walked away saying, this is the most exciting football we've seen around here in a long time. And that's what they tried to prevent. That's why you need to boycott these sponsors until they learn to respect their own fan base, till they learn to respect Black quarterbacks, till they learn to respect Shedeur Sanders. And I ain't talking about no placating. Because we only know Stefanski said his name because Shedeur got robbed. And he know people going to look his way, and he should. Because remember, he was going to put Shedeur down. You don't talk about a human being like that. And what's worse, he demonstrated the discrimination on multiple occasions and wanted you to know about it. He set up this young man in the Panthers game. He set up this young man in the Rams game. He set up this young man the other night. He going to set him up against the Raiders. He going to set him up against the 49ers. He going to set him up against the Bears. He going to set him up every time he take the field because Kevin Stefanski does not think that Shedeur Sanders is worthy of being a quarterback, the most important position on the team, because he is Black. That, ladies and gentlemen, is called race norming. Something the NFL was guilty of not even 5 years ago. So let's listen to this clip. I put this together. Then we're going to listen to Kevin Stefanski. I had to listen to it, but I had to listen to it. Sometimes you have to listen to see what people really trying to say. Opportunity for fairness. Ample opportunity for fairness. Take a listen to this video. This is July.
Mary Kay, and I know yesterday Shedeur and Dylan got their first chances to go up against the first team defense. Flacco with the ones winning against the second team defense. Was that more of Kevin Stefanski just shuffling things up in a way that he anticipated doing all week, or was that a result of Dylan and Shedeur looking good in practice and earning some of those reps against the first team defense?
Well, first of all, Dylan has already had opportunities with and against the first team offense. So it wasn't his first opportunity to do that. The new thing that happened yesterday was that Shedeur got a chance to go against the first team defense a little bit. And he.
All right. So, right. So understand that Dylan got physical reps as a QB3. We already know Stefanski's on the record saying Dylan is QB2 now after Flacco left, I think. Oh, no. When Dylan became QB2 after the Rams game, that's what it was. They used the Rams game, set Shedeur up to fail because at the Panthers game, he was so good. So they decided in the Rams game to use the O-line to blow their coverages, the tight end to drop the ball so that Shedeur wouldn't move forward, just like you saw in the game the other night. So against the Ravens. So they used that performance to devalue him, to make him QB3 behind Dylan. So Dylan gets the QB2 behind Flacco, and he had reps. And here's what people are saying. Well, Flacco's older. I don't give a damn how old Flacco is. If you knew Flacco was older, why you didn't go get a competent QB? Because here's how it went, guys. Shedeur was going to be the Browns QB at number 2, which means they evaluated him as an elite franchise QB. They were going to pay him about $46 million. Then they decided to change their mind. And it's okay for them to change their mind. But this is what they did afterwards. They got Pickett before that. So they knew Pickett was injury prone, right? They had Pickett. They had Shedeur in mind. So technically it could have been Pickett out there with Shedeur. But when they pivoted away from Shedeur, after CU's pro day, they were considering Shedeur and Travis. So you got Pickett on deck because you already signed him. Then you're at CU pro day and you're getting, it's documented, Shedeur and Travis. You're contemplating getting both of them. Somewhere right before day one of the draft, they decided not to get either one of them. Yes, everybody talks about Travis could have caught that pass. But what did they do after they pivoted from Shedeur? They quietly and didn't tell anybody. They pivoted to Dylan, who was an undrafted free agent until he went to the Manning Passing Academy. So his connections helped him get to a QB3, which means it's not about his skill set. So they already knew that I got Pickett. I'm going to move away from Shedeur. I have Dylan. And then after they moved away from Shedeur, they got Flacco. So Pickett, Dillon, Flacco. So guess what? I don't have a real quarterback. Dillon's an undrafted free agent. I don't care if you bump him up. His skills will not increase. And we have watched that happen with Dillon getting 160 reps and he not getting any better because that's not how it works. Just because you put somebody in the third round doesn't mean they're qualified. That's just you manipulating the system and weaponizing the rounds in the draft. So I have Pickett, Dillon, and Flacco. When training camp starts or mandatory camp, they force Judy to share a locker with Flacco. I'm on camera saying Flacco gonna be the starter because Jerry Judy is wide receiver 1. He not sharing a locker with Pickett. What happened? Pickett had a hamstring, and it seems that a lot of injuries are fate in Cleveland, and that needs to be investigated because the Deshaun Watson injury, although it was real, was paid by the insurance company. And was he set up to be injured? Because Deshaun Watson is on the record. He's not injury prone. He was never injured like that in Texas. And all of those injuries kept him from being their franchise QB, from being the QB1 for the year. He's never played more than 10 games in one season since he's been there. That needs to be investigated because that's fraud. So I have Pickett, I have Dillon, I have Flacco sharing a locker with Jerry Judy. Then they come up with this fake competition that a 5th round QB who's supposed to be redshirted and not playing this year can participate in to compete for the starting job. And when he won the starting job, and it's documented, it didn't matter. Then they shipped out Pickett, and it was Flacco, Dillon, and Shedeur. And then the Rams game was the determining factor. After the Panthers game, Shedeur did exceptionally well. And then they come over here to the Rams game and they set him up with the O-line, just like they did in the Raiders game. This is corruption. It's all documented. So they made him QB3. And the excuse was you're QB3, you can't get first team reps. But you just heard that Dillon had first team reps as a QB, so there's no justification. This is why I say they had plenty of time to make this right. They had plenty of time for fairness. Then Flacco leaves. Dillon already had reps with the first team at QB1. Flacco bounces, Dillon becomes the QB1, Shedeur is the QB2. Shedeur still does not get first team reps to be ready just in case Dillon goes down. They had already resigned themselves to lose with Dillon. They had already resigned themselves that Flacco was a starter, which is why he had the chemistry with Jerry Judy. And when they had no choice but to pivot to Dillon, something I don't think they really wanted to do, they just put him at QB3 as a favor to a friend to block Shedeur. That was it. They were like, oh, now we got to roll with Dillon because Flacco left. Another unexpected scenario. So you know what they said? We'll just lose. We'll just lose the season. That's what they were going to do until their fans, until we did, until all NFL fans, whether it was on social media or in Cleveland, started calling out the absurdity of sitting there losing when the franchise QB you were going to get before day one of the draft is on your roster. So all this entire exercise has proved it's just the extremes that the Cleveland Browns, led by Kevin Stefanski, are willing to go to hold back a black franchise long-term QB that can play more than 10 games in one season. It's racism. It's disgusting. And Shedeur shouldn't have to put up with this. And the NFL Players Association should have already stepped in on his behalf. But it's a shame. The commissioner allows it, and so did the owner of the Browns. So now the fans, the public, had to step up. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. So this is Kevin Stefanski's press conference. Just listen to it and tell me what you hear. And I'm going to tell you what I heard.
I think it's all positive. You're constantly learning. as a young football player, constantly learning as a quarterback through all reps. We talk so much about mental reps and those type of things, how important they are. So all those physical reps, I think, add up and will only improve as he continues to get turns. I understand the question, Cam. I think it's important that you do what you think is right for a football team. The development of our players is constant. It doesn't happen just in one drill or in one practice or one meeting. So we trust our guys. We trust our backup players to be ready to go, and Shedeur is ready to go. Obviously, I know he wants to play better. I want to coach better, all those type of things, but that just comes, that'll come through work. That's where it will come.
All right.
We've always structured it
let's
with making sure we're getting all of our guys ready to play.
1 second. Let's talk about this. First, the thing that I heard, something about some mental reps. See, this is why you can't trust this young man. This is why he need to be fired. First of all, Dylan had physical reps. He doesn't want there to be equality between Dylan and Shedeur. He's essentially trying to establish Jim Crow within the Browns. Shedeur is a black quarterback. They have standards for this position. We're going to have to put him down. Before today, he couldn't even say his name. He can never compliment him on anything that he did well, but the opposing team coach is on a record doing so voluntarily. This man is not a real coach. And it would be a shame to investigate and find out if the only reason he's a head coach is because he's willing to be racist and hold back a black quarterback from the most important position on the team of playing more than 10 games in the season. It would be a shame to find that out, but it needs to be looked into. This is why a congressional hearing is absolutely necessary, because the ownership of the Browns, the Haslam's, will not hold Stefanski accountable. The commissioner of the NFL will not hold Stefanski accountable. The NFL Players Association is a ghost, will not hold Stefanski or the Haslam's or the commissioner accountable. These players have no recourse. That's why a congressional hearing is mandatory. And I wouldn't be surprised if fans start boycotting the sponsors to let their voices and their disgust be heard, that they're not going to pay good money and spend their precious time that they can't get back supporting a franchise that is willingly allowing a head coach to be racist against a black quarterback who can help the team win, which should be the goal. So they're not playing football in the Cleveland Browns organization. They playing roots. But they better understand something. Shedeur Sanders is not Kunta Kinte, and his damn name is not Toby. And they know we watch it because you heard him say Shedeur's name for the first time. Now he want to talk like he got some sense. So we're going to go through this, and you tell me what you're thinking in the comments, and I'm going to stop it at a certain point.
I think it's all positive. You're constantly learning as a young football player, constantly learning as a quarterback through all reps. We talk so much about mental reps and those type of things, how important they are. So all those.
This is his way, bringing up these mental reps. Yes, mental reps matter, but that's what you do when you're not at work. That's what you do when you're away from the game. In fact, there's actually a device that Jaden Daniels used, I think, when he was at LSU, and the Commanders actually put it in his contract. A VR device, virtual reality, that you can do mental reps. Is that what you do at practice? No, that's what you do when you're on an airplane. That's what you do on your off day when you're not around your teammates. That's what mental reps are for. And the way he's inserting these mental reps that he's rarely ever talked about is to let you know he's not willing to stop discriminating against Shedeur, but instead trying to justify not getting physical reps equal to Dylan when Dylan was a QB3 or a QB2. Anything to justify the racism. This is why he needs to be terminated immediately. And things will continue to get worse the longer he works there, mark my words. People think they can control everything. Nope, you cannot. Did they know Flacco was leaving? Did they know they was going to be forced to play Dylan? Did they know Shedeur was going to get in the game? Did they know the fans would boycott? Did they know the fans probably going to still boycott? Did they know they would be forced to draft Shedeur? Did they know he would get drafted at all because they wanted him to be an undrafted free agent? Did they know they would be exposed with a prank on camera? Did they know we find out the NFL sent out his phone number? There's a lot of unexpected that happened there, and they think they could control everything. With everything that you've been exposed for thus far, you would think that you would stop. But this is where arrogance turns into stuck on stupid. And this is how I know they're going down. Today or tomorrow, they're going down. All right, so let's get back to this.
Physical reps, I think, add up and will only improve as he continues to get turns.
Okay, I don't even want to hear no more. All right, so he just want to talk about them mental reps. They'll add up this, that, and the other. In other words, they're going to do everything they possibly can. See, they think they fight Shedeur. They fight their own fans. This is how you know they are stuck on stupid. These people are still not willing to treat Shedeur equally. These people know that Dylan had first team reps at QB2, at QB3. They are intentionally holding back first team reps so Shedeur won't be successful. But he still was successful despite the O-line. Now, I've watched Shedeur overcome a lot, right? I've watched him overcome an O-line that was negligent, that sold him out, and these people went to other schools and decided to play. I asked how much were they paid? Because it's happening the same way. It's still the right side of the O-line. And we all know the connection. Kevin Stefanski used to work for Pat Schumer, and they are friends. Pat Schumer tried to get Kevin Stefanski a job with the Giants, and the Giants said no. So this press conference shows you that Kevin Stefanski is still not willing to treat Shedeur as an equal. Give him in a supportive environment. This is where the malpractice comes in. We still don't know if Shedeur is expected to get first team reps in practice. Did he? Did anybody ask the question? Because if reporters didn't ask the question, they don't want to know the answer. They don't want to further expose Kevin Stefanski. But that is the question. That should be the question today, tomorrow, and the day after. Did Shedeur get first team reps with the wide receivers? And the interesting part is Dylan has already proven he's not that guy. So they'd rather lose than put Shedeur in to win. Get this young man first team reps so he could win, have chemistry with the wide receivers. So they could have a winning season for the fans. They'd rather lose than win with Shedeur Sanders. Thankfully, he hadn't been injured like Deshaun Watson has. But people can't see through the injuries because it happens season over season. But all you got to go do is look at how the quarterbacks stay injured. In Cleveland now, when they leave, they're not injured like that. Has Pickett been injured in Vegas? And he injury prone. The injuries seem to be weaponized to control and restrict the movement of the quarterbacks, for sure. And here's the thing, that's called collusion. That is the very definition of collusion, restricting a player's movement. Whether you use the draft and the rounds or whether you use injuries to take them out the game. Because they can't put themselves in if a doctor doesn't clear them. That's not on the player. So let me see what y'all are saying. So for those that's just now joining us, yes, Shedeur Sanders' home was burglarized of $200,000 in property. Yes, there was a camera. The three burglars, thieves, were caught on camera stealing. Yes, fans and people are asking if it was an inside job, just like the prank for Shedeur and the draft meant to humiliate him. Is this an inside job from the Cleveland Browns? Maybe Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, who has shown vitriol towards Shedeur and refuses to humanize him, except for today, he decided after Shedeur gets robbed to say his name. If the Browns, led by head coach Kevin Stefanski, are trying to intimidate Shedeur into being uncomfortable and maybe wanting to leave because he's this close from starting against the Raiders. And we want to know if he had first team physical reps as a QB2 or a QB1, because Dylan has had first team physical reps as a QB3 and a QB2. Now, I want to hear about no mental reps, because that's what you do on your own time. So that's not a qualifying solution. That's what Kevin Stefanski wants to put out there rather than tell everybody if Shedeur is getting first team reps. He doesn't want to be held accountable. And he's refusing to treat Shedeur equally. He should be fired immediately. So he did have cameras, Titus. Thank you. Thank you. It said yay an earlier show. We love you. I love you too. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. It said, Jackie, say, hey, fam, yes. What happened to the alarm system? I thought almost everyone had an alarm or ring. You know, I don't know if he had an alarm system or not. I know a lot of these guys have been burglarized. We have talked about this. Again, it could be an inside job and they're trying to slide in on something a trend that's already happening, like they did with the prank phone call. You know, I don't know if he lived in a gated community. He could. And they somehow got in. He had cameras. That's smart. It's not his house. I do believe it's at a rental house. What I would suggest for Shedeur is he needs armed bodyguards, because he's being robbed at work by his head coach and he's being robbed at home. They got people on the payroll following Shedeur around when he is street clothes and not on the field, not working, not anywhere near getting ready for a game. And that's very disturbing. So what he wants to do is bring in somebody that you already know from Dallas, right? From Dallas, that you can trust, because you don't want somebody that can be bought and paid for, because, you know, money talks. Bring somebody in that is at the house 24/7, not saying they can't leave. But when you're gone, when everybody's gone, because you have to play games like they going to Vegas, that person needs to be at the house. That person needs to be able to defend themselves. That person is to understand they are security. They need a ring camera installed immediately so they can see what's going on. But they need a physical human being at that house posted up with the car seat on the driveway. And they might need to go to work with him, because they do have somebody on the payroll following him around when he's in street clothes. So you can't ignore any of it. But he did have an alarm. We don't know. I mean, he did have cameras. We don't know about the alarm. But understand this, alarms can be disabled. So again, alarms go off. It takes time for the police to come. I don't know where he live at, right? The question is, how they know where he live at? I know you might have realized he have jury, but he always had jury. How do you know where he live at? And is that why Kevin Stefanski is saying his name today? Because he on the hot seat. Hey, Tina, how you doing? How you doing? It said, this is so wild. Good afternoon. Facts. Hey, Val, how you doing? It said, Kevin Stefanski is fake. I don't believe anything he says. I'm with you on that one, Tina. I'm with you on that one. Hey, Elijah. It said, I'm wearing my Shedeur sweatshirt to the JSU game this weekend. Send me a picture. Nikki Sophie sent a picture. All right. If y'all already bought merch from Shedeur, the Shedeur collection, whatshesays sports.com, please send it to me. Nikki Sophie, send me hers. I'm waiting on some other people to send theirs, because I'm going to post it on hashtag post your What She Said sports strip, because I want to, show it. You don't want your face in it, crop it out, because I know how people are. But, we happy to have it. So thank you. It said, please like and subscribe. We need this system to be at 10,000 at the end of the year. Right. I'm just trying to get to 5,700 and 6,000 by Christmas Eve, but I'll take 10,000, because that is the goal. I just figured we got to baby step it, right? And maybe going live more often will help it. So, I have time to go to do these earlier podcasts. And with things being fluid, right? With what's happening with Shedeur, we're on a Shedeur Sanders watch, right? Some people on a Kevin Stefanski watch to see if he get fired. I'm on a Shedeur Sanders watch, right? So keep your notifications on. All right, so let's keep going through the comments. Hey, Gail, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, Lee, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, Elaine, welcome back. Val, see if I didn't say your name. Hey, Tamika, welcome back. It said, hello, everyone. I hope that everyone gets arrested for burglarizing his home. Facts, Tamika. Hopefully they catch the guys. It said, he should buy the Browns. I totally agree. I'm like, they keep praying. Shedeur go own that damn team. It said Kevin changing his tune because the story has national attention. It said Cam blasted him with first take. Right. And I saw that too. And shout out to Cam. And what's crazy how people coming at Cam? understand this. Cam was a victim of bounty gate. When Sean Payton was the head coach of the Saints, they were paying players, Saints players, to physically hurt the opposing team, and Cam was a target. And Cam took the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl. And then they cut him and said they couldn't find anybody to trade with. Understand that's what they want to do to Shedeur. They want to say you're not good enough for anybody to want to trade for you. But what did Odell Beckham Jr. just tell us when we watched him? That New York could have found him a suitable trade partner, but they sent him to Cleveland. That's where they send the black quarterbacks to end their careers, including Deshaun Watson. And I hope he figured it out. And because they made it known that Dylan is the guy, you know, they're ruling by intimidation and fear. They're not letting the players naturally be happy to win with Shedeur. It has to be Dylan. They only talk about Deshaun positively because he was out there helping Dylan. Y'all just be yourselves. Your name is not Toby and your name is not Kunta Kinte. Don't let these people break you because that's the goal. Like Russell Wilson say, they can't break me, and he ain't lying. Shout out to Russell Wilson and his wife, Sierra. The movie Sarah's Oil. I don't know if they have a production company or they're part owner in the production of this movie. It's a movie about a young lady who was a millionaire, like at the age of 11. And of course, some colonizers tried to buy her land because she had oil on it. Sarah's Oil. Check it out. I think it looked like it's good. It looked like it's good. Russell Wilson has already moved on. Like I said, this is probably his last year. And when you sit down and you talk about all 16 of these black quarterbacks, and that's what I want to do tonight. When you talk about all 16 of the black quarterbacks that made history, including Russell Wilson, knowing that Shedeur Sanders was 17, it should provide some levity, for you to understand why it is that the Cleveland Browns would take down their own quarterback, why it is the Ravens defense helped prop up Dylan, why it is the Ravens offense helped take down Lamar. That's how they got to the bottom. Not a coincidence that when Lamar came back, they've won 3 games now, 4 straight. But understand this. The Ravens defense, shame on them for protecting Dylan and not trying to win for their own damn team. It's documented. Everybody's talking about it. And that's how the extremes, the league itself, willing to go through to make Lamar Jackson seem overrated if he's equal with Dylan. Shame on the Ravens defense for that. They weren't playing competitive football. And then the goal to hold back Shedeur in the second half, to make him seem incompetent so they could keep him devalued, so they could trade him as a QB3 or a QB4, or just cut him altogether like they did Cam Newton. Cam Newton knows what's going on because he's been through it. He always said the Falcons owner was his neighbor. But the man wouldn't talk to him because he didn't want Cam on the team. I see the Falcons owner running out there giving HBCUs all sorts of kind of money, but I also see they're trying to fire Raheem Morris and get rid of Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. had 81% accuracy, no interceptions. They kept running the ball. He had no touchdowns. They took him out in the fourth quarter and put in Kirk Cousins, and they lost. And they want to know why. Kirk Cousins coming to Atlanta in the first place after drafting Michael Penix Jr. in the first round, and it's exactly the 32, the milestones, and where they are now. They all under attack because it just seems like the NFL can't stand 17 black quarterbacks becoming a reality and playing week after week. And, you know, when you think about it, Michael Penix Jr. just played Bryce Young. Shedeur, if he's a starter getting ready to play Geno Smith, that's 2 black quarterbacks right there. Jameis Winston just played Jordan Love. Dak Prescott just played Geno Smith. That's what they don't want. And when they get it, they disrupt it. Like you saw, won't walk away saying, damn, that game with Lamar, Shedeur is good. Shedeur is the next GOAT, and Lamar is the GOAT. That's what they don't want. They don't want the positive conversation to happen That's why Cam Ward been sacked so many times. They don't want him to even be successful, and they paid him $48 million. And because I paid you $48 million, your name is Toby. All these people playing some version of Roots to mentally break the black quarterback, physically break the black quarterback with excessive sack, the ringleader. And that's why a congressional investigation is needed, because there's a pattern here. There's a pattern, and it needs to be investigated. Yes, go for the sponsors. I told you. It said you are so right about having the right security. Yeah, having a camera is cool. Having an alarm is cool. In Shedeur's situation, right? Having somebody at your house, having security at your house. And if you don't feel comfortable, move, but you still gave out your number, and the Cleveland Browns had you throwing to the equipment manager, and Stefanski couldn't say your name until today, and then your old lineman is setting you up, probably because Stefanski's virus is spreading. Protect yourself, because the closer you get to QB1, the more extreme they're gonna get. It said, greetings. How you doing, Pat? It said, this is so sad. I'm so thankful Shedeur and Pilar and his mom was not there. Definitely inside, just like a draft day. Right. It's not a surprise they weren't there. They waited till they weren't there. They knew when they weren't going to be there. I mean, this is actually what's happening. My question is it an inside job, and they're trying to slide in on something that has already happened? Just like when they gave out his phone number, they were like, no, other people got pranked. That's exactly what people do. They know something else is taking place, and they exploit it and use that as their opportunity to strike, so you won't see their criminality as being you being a target. It's an accident, or this happens all the time. That's exactly what happened with the treated and discriminated against and intimidated. They bullied him. They still are bullying him. You know how you know they bullying him? Because he said they're gonna say I'm a distraction. They're bullying him. He might not agree because he's a man. They're bullying him. So their robbing his house is not out of the question, because they know they get to him. It said, Mr. Lane, they have told him he looks biased and discriminatory. It's totally agree. And the like to say, oh, it's over football. Fans just want to see good football, right? And somebody put out a list of all talking about this year is the year with the most black minority owners. I said, this is embarrassing. I said, at any other time, I would celebrate. Standing around watching Shedeur be whipped into submission like his name is Kunta Kinte by the Cleveland Browns. And they have a minority owner, and that's why they went and got him. And he can't say a damn thing or refuses to say a damn thing. Atlanta, minority owners. They watching Raheem Morris and Michael Penix Jr. be taken with that. Just like Pharrell. Miss me with that. Miss me with that. Because if you're quiet, you're part of the problem. And if you want to say it's something and you don't have the courage to say it's racism, then just shut the hell up. We need real people willing to hold the Browns accountable and these other teams too. But we talk the Falcons fans, a lot of them black, they can fight for Michael Penix Jr. and Raheem Morris if they want to. But first, they got to realize what the hell is going on. I'm sure they're so blinded by Jeezy during the halftime show, they'll figure it out. But in Cleveland, we own it. We own it. It said they knew he wasn't going to be there. Right. They knew where he was going to be. They knew where he was going to be. I don't have it set up like that, man. But thank you. I don't have it set up like that. It said, and we need the Obama phone. Security now, not later, right? Like, yeah, don't dismiss this. Like, I don't know what Pat Mahomes and Joe Burrow did, after their situation. I don't know. I knew it happened to some Falcons players too, right? But again, when people show you what they're capable of And they showed you they capable of lying to the NFL itself in the New York Giants. And they lied about who it was. They lied and said it was a Falcons. When people show you that that's who they are, even when they get busted, they still willing to lie. You can't trust that. Just like Stefanski throwing out mental reps. You can't trust him. The hell mental reps gonna do? It doesn't justify the inequality and the disparate treatment of Shedeur Sanders. That's so, I guess, fans. It said Cleveland is a small town where everybody knows everybody. Thank you, Elaine. And that's what I was thinking, right? It's the if you have access to the information, like let's say you have a phone at the Verizon store, and somebody works there, and you go in there because this has happened before. You go in there, and somebody sells your information to somebody else, right? So that's very, very, very possible. But again, if I know Shedeur, they say he still had it's a rental home. He knows how to keep himself out of the way. So even when he got the ticket, somebody said he gave his rental house address. I don't know if that's true because I didn't watch it. I ain't gonna say they lying. I just can't verify it. But I've never had an officer ask me for my address with an out-of-state license before, and I travel a lot on the road. So I think it's not easy to know where he lives. I think the time possibly with first team reps, but again, that question needs to be answered, and reporters need to man up and ask it, a woman up and ask it, because it's essential, right? What the cams say. This is going to continue to happen over and over and over because Stefanski does not want Shedeur to succeed. That's facts. He still have a job if there's evidence to support that, because it says the owners are in on it too. And the owners, a group of which Haslam is a part of, took Shedeur off the board. Now, which one of them said he was entitled? Maybe it was Haslam. But allowing this to fester will be a point. And I'm just saying, I don't know why you would want to risk it. Arrogance is the only answer. Because if they come for your sponsors and you end up in a congressional hearing and they start looking on the inside, because if we can see this on the outside, you can only imagine on the inside. They're not hiring people to run a competent organization. They're not hiring people to win football games. They playing a game of roots. And racism is not a game. It says he needs private bodyguards. They are still trying to break in and score him. Right. It said afternoon, everybody, 4:20 exactly, they were found guilty of collusion in April. Who else? What do you mean? Anybody associated with the case like Lamar, Kyler Murray, or Russell Wilson? Those are the three that were associated with the collusion case. And I don't think. But when people show you what they are, collusion, racism, that's what they are. They're not going to change. And they feel like they can get away with it. That's why the public had to step up. And that's shameful. Destiny said the CAA agency, Kevin Stefanski, is suspect when it comes to racism. They stopped representing two clients who were activists of anti-racism when they spoke out about genocide. What's CAA? Oh, you're talking about his football agents? Oh, really? And who these people represent? Yeah, that could also be interesting to see the pattern of behavior of the type of coaches that are hired by, and don't be surprised if Stefanski get fired. They're going to get somebody black so they don't appear racist. That's just what they do. But they're going to want that black coach to discriminate against the black quarterback. Understand that. Hugh Jackson was a black coach in Cleveland and said that security and bodyguards on his home in person. Right. Because he's being robbed at work. And it could be an inside job. as it was reported, I thought it was the NFL. See, there you go. Because of the behavior towards Shedeur from the NFL, from the Browns, from the draft has been hostile. And I've seen, when you watch every day, when you look at the press conference, you discriminate, you see how extreme they're willing to be to hold him back. And I understand Tyrod Taylor had his lung punctured, so robbing somebody's house to make them scared or run off is not out of the question. And they never fired that doctor that punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung. They weren't worried about him doing it to nobody else. It's almost like they wanted him to know. Because you should have been worried about that, because it's not easy to get to your lungs. That's crazy. Oh, and then there was another player that died recently. Played for the Seahawks. Y'all, the team doctors gave a black football player who either played for the Cardinals. I'm going to have to look into this some more and come back tonight. But I'm going to just give you this. This is how you know that Shedeur's break and being an inside job is not out of question. The player was traded from either the Cardinals to the Seahawks or the Seahawks to the Cardinals. He ended up with kidney failure. Guess why? The team doctors gave him 15 to 20 Advil a day to take for pain. And you just heard me say they punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung, which is supposed to be a routine pain injection. He sued them, but I think he died. He just died. It's the white guy on IG talking about it. He said they don't want you to know about this, just like they don't want you to know about CTE. They don't talk about the guy that died. They just had a moment of silence for the guy in Dallas that passed. They, for somehow, I don't know why they started a memorial fund to raise money for his girlfriend who was pregnant. I'm like, just write a check. Y'all got the money, but they want to get the money from the public. Either passed away. I don't know his relationship with his father. But if I take care of his girlfriend, maybe she don't even have the right to do it. But maybe she won't push for somebody in his family to have his brain tested for CTE. You see how that works? All people smiling in your face are not your friends. Sometimes something that could go against them. They want you to do what benefits them. Because it makes no sense for the Dallas Cowboys, who is the $14 billion valuation, to need money from the public to take care of his girlfriend. That wasn't his wife. I've never known him to do that to any player. But I do know his mother's deceased. I do know his girlfriend could talk to his family. And I do know his brain should be tested for CTE. And they might already know. He could have actually gone to them and complained, and they could have dismissed it. Like the guy who's talking about it on IG, he's right. They don't talk about this. When people show you who they are, don't take nothing for granted. Side eye everything, and don't trust them. These people are not your friends. I think this was Stefanski is about to lose his job because the team been wanting to play with Shedeur. I really feel they were going to rally around him since he's going to win all 6 games. I mean, he could. Shedeur is good. And, even people see it. They talk about, man, against all odds, time. Because Kevin Stefanski's job was to suppress the quarterback position because of who the quarterbacks were. People have pointed out, as I did, they had 3 black quarterbacks last year. Where are they now? But they're going to keep Deshaun instead of letting him go so he can play. They refused to trade Shedeur, but they used to get him ready to play. That's how you know they are ruining these black quarterbacks' careers intentionally. Yes, I know they have a revolving door, but the white quarterbacks can get out. The black quarterbacks cannot. It's at the pit and it's meant for them. There you go, Lee. The ditch you dig for somebody else, you dig it for yourself. And that's my whole point. They think they know everything that's going to happen. oh, Stefanski, they talking about you going out there and say Shedeur name. That's too late for that. It's too late for that. If I'm Shedeur, I wouldn't even trust it. I'm like, oh, now. And what did it take? Cam to speak up. It's crazy out here in these internet streets. The way people would take it to the internet to say Shedeur failed and y'all wanted to see him and he wasn't good, they all got drowned out. For the most part, they all got drowned out. And then when Cam spoke out, they got distracted and stopped analyzing and ran over to say, they let them know. He an NFL MVP, right? He took these people to the Super Bowl. And after he had a rotator cuff injury, I watched the documentary. J.J. Watt, isn't that his name? Went right into the rotator cuff and re-injured it just to take him out of the game. And Cam was so good, even though he took him to a Super Bowl, they said they couldn't find a trade partner for him. Yeah, people are now starting to remember about the Titans quarterback. Don't ever forget about Vince Young. Do not ever forget about Vince Young. They tried to break him down from a dual threat to a pocket passer. The owner even gave Vince Young his number so he could feel confident like they reeled Shedeur in. But the owner allowed Jeff Fisher to destroy that young man. See, everybody doesn't have the same type. We read about Vince Young's upbringing. It was rough. So it manifests differently in Vince Young than Shedeur, but it could be the same. And the longer they pounce on him, he's going to start saying his name is Toby. I don't know if that ever happened in Boots or not, but the point is, that's why they're doing it. Even Shady McCoy said on Speak Easy, they're trying to change him. He meant they're trying to break him down so you can get first team reps. And they still ain't gonna let him ball out because Jerry Judy's still not the leading receiver. But they got him to say, yeah, Dylan this, Dylan that. See, that's why you never give in. Shout out to Myles Garrett for actually refusing to answer the question about Shedeur, whether or not he's good, but not leaving it at that and clarifying. He works hard. And he does. And they rewarded him, as you heard Mary Cabot say, hi. And even though he just played in a game, he never had first team offense. And even, here's the thing, right? Dylan has lost how many games? You trying to tell me it didn't click in your mind, let me get Shedeur ready? It may not have, because we're not trying to win. We want us to keep Shedeur. And we do not want the fans to hold us accountable. That's why we're Shedeurians. They don't want to hear shit we got to say. Okay. The boycott happened. And shout out to the Browns fans. And if they don't clean it up, we all going after them damn sponsors. Because like I say, they're going to get tired of people calling. They're going to get tired of people emailing. They're going to get tired of people DMing them about Kevin Stefanski. $1 billion up was yes, and damages. Totally agree, Nicole. It said Terrence Howard called CAA out for racism. They were lowballing him. Oh, so wait, his agency is not just a football agency. It's the talent. LLC. I appreciate you. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate you. Wisdom and discernment is paramount. It's critical. Fact, it is. And you have to, and people forget how young Shedeur really is, right? We know his nickname is Grown, but he's really young, right? This is a lot on a young person. And in my opinion, they mentally know that these young men can only withstand so much before they break. That's why they keep doing it. Players that couldn't read or write, that don't exist no more, right? Now, there was a period they wanted to get them all out the ghetto. Then they wanted to get them all from the single mothers. Then what they want to do? Now they don't want to get the ones with a fan base. It's always something to control the Black athlete. And why? When you're in college, you better build up your damn NIL and not just the money part, but your fan base. so you can have somebody to stand up for you. This is why Shedeur came in the league with 4 million people and now probably have 6 or 8. Just because certain people aren't speaking out about it don't mean they're not behind the scenes making something shake. It said, did you know that Darren Orlovsky has the same agent as Kevin Stefanski and Dylan Gabriel? It makes sense why he's always defending Kevin Stefanski and talking crazy about Shedeur, right? Dan Orlovsky was the person I was watching when they had the free agency deadline. He was shocked that Justin Fields was able to get out of Pittsburgh. But the crazy part is, not only did he want Justin Fields to stay in Pittsburgh, he advocated for Mike Tomlin to draft Shedeur and put him behind Aaron Rodgers. So you wanted Justin Fields and then Shedeur. The league worked meticulously. It was all premeditated. And the biggest signal is, I'm worried about your pops. Tony Grossi said something about Coach Prime called Haslam. I'm like, and? I don't know. I didn't listen to it. He was making sense on some of his things, but I don't be listening to it. When everybody was defending Shedeur, they had a meeting, some kind of rally, to talk about, let's just go out here on the internet and everybody say that Shedeur is trash. So when people started defending Shedeur, Grossi was like, I'm going to tell you. Prime Deion Sanders called Haslam. And I don't know if he was trying to allude to the fact that Haslam drafted Shedeur to tell you, without telling you, that Shedeur was forced to Cleveland. They didn't want him. Coach Prime called, but they want Coach Prime. They just don't want to tell you who it is. But everybody know. I don't know why it's a secret. 47. When Haslam said, damn draft, you think they give a damn? I'm surprised they would even take his phone call. I don't even know if he really called. But it would surprise me if he called, because why? He's a parent. And they pre-draft with Shedeur until 2 weeks before the draft, as their franchise QB is documented. So, of course, I'm going to call Haslam to find out what happened and what this the fans is. So there's nothing wrong with Coach Prime calling Haslam, because they wooed Shedeur. They made him think they were going to draft him so he could come to Cleveland. This is why they quietly and secretly pivoted to Dylan. And understand, they already have the 2 picks they used to trade up to get Shedeur in the same 5th round. They already got those back with Pickett and Flash, all of it. So to take him off the board and make him unavailable because he was the best. Cam Ward, the best in the draft, because he went first. They paid him $48 million. And they over there beat Ward. They taking pleasure. Oh, he's a bust. Justin Fields has been benched. I'm like, Justin Fields has been sacked 150 times in his young career. And the Chicago Bears are going to be sued for workplace negligence. See, that's the next frontier, right? We're looking at open discrimination. The next frontier is them being sued for workplace negligence for allowing the smallest group of Black quarterbacks to be sacked the most. You have to devalue them. That's not new and it's well documented. Now the conversation is weaponizing excessive sacks, knowing they could get CTE and concussions. That's evil. That's vile. That's the next frontier. And tell Bucket to stop showing everything, including all that materialistic bling. Yeah, that might have been how they got roped up. Understand it. I saw the video. I was like, oh. It said, yeah, I'm trying to say Bucket was in Cleveland. I saw his video. He was in Texas or something like that, huh? because he showed the video. They saw Shedeur on TV and everybody was excited. And I thought I heard him say, I should have been there. I thought he was actually there. That's crazy. So he wasn't even in town. So everybody said they need to stop shooting in their house. I agree. It said this is not a coincidence that this happened the night he finally played. They're going to make Bucky move to Cleveland permanently. Right. And here's the timing. They rule by intimidation. Look at what happened to Myles Garrett when he gravitated towards Shedeur. We had to find out through Mary Cabot he had 8 speeding tickets that she tried to make him seem reckless when he actually tried to swerve to hit a deer. Look at only Shedeur and Myles Garrett are the players we know that got tickets. After Myles Garrett grew up, and I got somebody on the payroll following him. I have only he and Myles Garrett talking about their tickets. I'm trying to paint them a picture of being reckless because look at how much they talked about him getting a speeding ticket. You would have thought he had a domestic violence charge. But when Ben Roethlisberger had SA charges, they didn't even suspend him until it happened the second time. Aaron Rodgers, domestic violence claims from Danica Patrick. You see, he the QB1. And they gonna give him a chance to decide where he want to play next year. But Shedeur can't get a speeding ticket. They try to use the speeding ticket to say he's trouble, but they got players with domestic violence charges over there. They're trying to paint a picture that he's trouble, he's a nuisance, we don't want him, he's a distraction. All because they know the truth. That they intentionally baited him in at number 2 overall, secretly pivoted to Dillon, knowing he would fall. It's not a coincidence to get him. It's not a coincidence that they got Dillon, the same person from the Heisman stage in college, blocking him. It should let you know how coordinated these efforts are between college and the NFL about orchestrating which quarterbacks come out of college and what round they go in. They think they got it sold up from beginning to end. But all of this unexpected, talking about mental reps when he should be apologizing. When he should be saying, yes, he should be forthcoming. The reporter shouldn't even have to ask. I'm happy to report Shedeur Sanders is your first team rep. He should apologize to everyone with Dillon because they didn't want to put Shedeur in because he's good, because they don't want him, because he's black. And they didn't want the fans to like him either. That's why they keep talking about his celebrity. They don't want the fans to like Shedeur. I say damages definitely exceed $1 billion because this is a lot for football. It's that I agree. He can't trust no one of the family and those who surrounded him before Cleveland. Right. No new friends. You don't have no friends in Cleveland. Black or white. Don't care. Don't go to nobody's house to eat. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just enjoy the road trips. Don't let nobody give you no food. Don't let them give you nothing to drink. Don't let them send no woman your way. Don't say, hey, don't let them set you up. Have your family come to town and hang out with them. Y'all go bowling or something. You can't trust none of them. Because here's the thing. 55 and 77 may have set him up, right? But how many of them, besides the few that did, spoke up for him to say he was ready? How many of them had the courage to say they trying to silence us, but run into podcast on the limb? Understand this. If you don't make the sacrifice, you will become the sacrifice. But these guys young, they'll get it. They'll get it. It said he needs to check his house for bugs. Matter of fact, he needs to move immediately. Ain't no telling what bugs, cameras, and wires they installed. And character flaw. It said Coach Prime said in his presser that he knows what's going on behind the scenes, behind the scenes and curtain. Do he know what's going on in Colorado with Stefanski's buddy? Because I would hope he ain't nowhere near Juju. Because I done seen enough with Cater. And Ponder. I know Coach Brown is smart. And I know he know it ain't but 2 games left. So I feel like he's trying to just let it play out. I saw Brett Bertolone commanding the team in the practice. I ain't gonna say nothing till I see what these. I need to see that game plan for Juju from quarter 1 to quarter 4, because Juju's already a star, and I don't want Juju from these excessive sacks because CTE. There's no reason for that. Stefanski's not the only person with blood on their hands. All of management is guilty. Oh, I totally agree. I say it goes up to ownership, because why? The culture is set by ownership. And the fact that ownership seems to be tethered to the franchise, ownership of that franchise, it lets you know, like he says, Stefanski's done a good job for us. Win. Must be that off the field work. Just like they have somebody on the payroll running around following Shedeur off the clock. We'll see what happens. Well, who they find out did the robbery. And I don't give a damn if it's 3 black people, because they going to run. How long you been there? This could have happened a long time ago, but it happened now. They knew he had jury. I didn't need to see that video to know he had jury. I know he got a house. I know he laid his head somewhere. I know he got nice shoes. I know they didn't show us anything that we didn't already know. No, I don't think you should expose yourself like that. But you can't ignore the fact that they just try to slide in on the trend in the draft. And Shedeur, and they just bold-faced lied. Lied on the Falcons, lied on the DC's family. So don't be surprised if he become the head coach. It had nothing to do with the Falcons. I'll tell you something. When people show, that's vile. When people show you that they willing to lie even when they busted, you can't trust that, bro. You got to get the help. You probably should just go up there for the week. He going to Vegas. Go out there to Vegas. Hell, bring Snow out there. Go bowling with the family. Bring Shiloh. Shiloh should go hang out while they in Vegas and stay away. Because you can't trust none of them. It's called frenemies, right? You can't trust none of them. Nobody. Nobody. Tony probably was the only one he could have trusted. And you see they retaliated against Tony and they cut him. Fear. Because discrimination is the rule of the day. And I have to force the black players into submission for them to allow me to discriminate against their own kind. And they get away with it too much. Because the media ain't gonna say nothing. It takes people to have the courage to stand up. Cam ain't got nothing to lose. Stefanski is the foul guy. It said the collusion owners will have to tamp down their plan because exposure is happening. I agree, Bridget. It said the consequences era is here. Stefanski will be left holding the bag. Right. And that's what happened. And what did I throw up? Told you that. I said he's like the dumb criminal in the group that they can get to do something, and they all committed the crime together. But he's so arrogant. He was actually trying to show us and tell us that he doesn't value Shedeur as a human being, and they never fired him. And Callahan is gone. And he had the same record as Stefanski. So it didn't matter if he lost, because he does good work for us. And it's not about football. It's about a plantation system. It's about race norming. It's about Jim Crow. Racism. That's why people are starting to say out loud, damn, Shedeur got one hell of a racial discrimination case, and that would be Brian Flores' lawsuit should be a slam dunk with everything that has happened to Shedeur because the quarterbacks, he does talk about the quarterbacks, how they also discriminated against, and Shedeur was a quarterback. You got to be a special kind of to have cases going through the federal courts that you didn't want to happen in the first place, and you still at it. You can't trust that. That's the kind of people that will invite you to go camping or invite you to a sleepover, and people will never see you again because your presence, your blackness is the problem. It said these progressive teams do not have these issues. I would hope not. I would hope not. It said, I would definitely hope not. It said, this makes me mad. It said, the way the whole thing is playing out for Shedeur, his dream, like everyone else, they are making it a nightmare. Right. Go back to restrict. Here's the thing. Why draft them? So they don't go somewhere and start their own. And if you notice, they don't. To give a player 16 to 20 Advil a day as a team doctor, you're trying to kill him. And they did. Fellas. This is why I said Shedeur needs to learn about all of the black quarterbacks and what they had to endure so he could see the pattern. And no, one, it's not about your father. Two, is racism. And three, how extreme racists are. Julia Johnson Law, black people underestimate Jim Crow and how long they're willing to go. Look at how long Lamar been in the league and how many times they have colluded against him. And stay tuned, because if they let him out of that division, all of them damn Ravens players that was propping up Dylan gonna be shocked. I don't know why. You sold out your own team. So they gonna do what they always do. They gonna discard you. I don't need you no more. So yes, this is the year of being exposed. Let's see if it makes a difference. All we got from Stefanski is saying Shedeur's name, but now he want to talk about mental reps, which is trying to justify not giving Shedeur the difference. All right, we getting ready to wrap up, guys. I will be back tonight at 10:30, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trying to get through some more of y'all comments. Great engagement today, guys. Thank y'all so much. Subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Totally agree. Kevin's a disgrace. Why do they hate us so much? Because we good. They hate Shedeur because he good. They hate Lamar because he good. That's why. Because they don't want black quarterbacks to be good because they've been practicing race norming for so long that says that the black NFL players are to use Eric Dickerson words, dumber than the white players. So how is it that the blacks get to the top and become the majority? Because they elite. And they don't want to admit that. And they don't want their fans who are like-minded like them to see two black quarterbacks playing every week. Damn, that's what's happening right now. And the games that I gravitate, I mean, I watch Bo Nix. I didn't watch Bo Nix versus Pat Mahomes, but the fact that it comes to race, one drop is all that matters. They don't care that your mama white if you black. When it comes to matters of who the majority is, when it's black and white. That's why you hear, we want to get Mendoza, okay? Because I see what you're doing to Dylan. Hell, I see what you're doing to Jackson Dart. You don't like him either. They will use anybody like a mule to hold back a black quarterback. Jackson Dart was used like a mule. They knew he wasn't that guy. And they knew he was propped up. That's why Daboll didn't want him out there at first. He knew. That's why there was so much inner turmoil. He could have fired and cleaned house after that whole Saquon Barkley debacle. But did he? No, just like Haslam. So the same thing that's happening in Cleveland, that happened in New York, is going to happen in Cleveland. Now they're talking about the GM is on the hot seat. They should have been fired. They act like they look out for each other, but they use each other. because they used Jackson Dart, knowing he couldn't get it done. Wasn't a coincidence that Malik Neighbors and Cam Scattergood, the two people who are actually the stars, who were going to be used to prop up and give Jackson Dart the credit to be sacked excessively to how many concussions he had. Understand, if you do the research, 3 concussions is troublesome. There's a player that plays for the Browns. He's had 6. His name is Denzel Ward. I wish him well. That's twice the limit of where you should be. I believe Stefanski's father is the GM. He was the GM in the NBA. Yeah, it's a nepotism job. He's a nepo baby. But it's not just who his father is. It's what Stefanski is willing to be. He said he's a servant leader of the Cleveland Browns. Nobody's a servant leader of the Browns. Haslam tells on himself all the time, every time he opens his mouth. He said he's done good work for us. No, he hasn't. He got to get the skilled players to be mostly white, holding back the black quarterbacks so they don't play more than 10 games so they could be the starter. Stefanski was calling plays, apparently, until Deshaun Watson got hurt and then turned over his headset. And they lost. And guess what? They fired the OC, but they kept Stefanski. They let him to hold back the black quarterback. Deshaun was injuring. Shedeur keeping him off the field and not getting him prepared. What are you going to do next year? Because they're probably going to let him come back unless the fans boycott the sponsors. But we'll see. Yeah, Kevin Stefanski is fake. He's genuine. Yes, it is wicked. It is vile. The word that there are is vile. Vile, sinister. Think about the movie Roots. Think about Kunta Kinte and how they tried to break him and make him say his name is Toby. That's what they're trying to do to Shedeur. Kevin Stefanski is leading the way. Haslam is allowing it. The NFL Players Association is ignoring it. And the owners and the commissioner are condoning it. Nobody wants to hold them. Nobody wants to stop it. Okay. So we're going to see y'all tonight at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on What She Said Sports. I appreciate the midday huddle, the engagement. We'll try to be back tomorrow. It's a lot going on. Look for the unexpected. Look for the unexpected. See y'all tonight. Thanks for watching What She